Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go. If you have a really busy and demanding career and you notice that your energy level has been slipping, you're feeling tired not just physically, but mentally. You're having brain fog. Your stress is way higher than what it used to be, and you're feeling exhausted by the time you get home. In this podcast, I'm going to break down something that I really don't see trainers talking about. I hear a lot of trainers talking about eat this food, do this workout, but most people don't even feel like doing these things because they don't feel well. If you don't feel well, you're not going to want to do well. And so we got to get your energy up. We got to shift your mood. That way you want to do your workouts. That way you want to eat a little bit better, okay? And so let's dive into it. So the first thing is this. If you feel overwhelmed is a issue and a symptom of a lack of structure, guys. And so if you don't have structure in your life, not just in your career, you're doing well in your career, you're excelling because you have the structure there. But if you don't have structure when it comes to your health, your energy, your body, this is how you find yourself doing well in your career, but then finding yourself getting really stressed over time. You find yourself like, you're just dragging. You're trying to survive the day versus thriving throughout the day. All right. These are things that I typically see from a lot of business professionals who reach out to me. They, attorneys, accountants, real estate investors, whatever it is, they're doing well in their career starting out, but then over time, they gain a lot of weight. They find themselves tired, really stressed mentally and physically. And then there's a decline. Okay. And so we fix this by having structure with our eating habits, structure with our wellness routine, structure with hitting the gym, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in just a second. Okay. This is critical though. Okay. And I even went through this, guys. Like in my earlier part of my career, when I used to do in-person training, I found myself training people in person and telling them, hey, you need to do these workouts. Hey, you need to be eating like this. But I found myself really stressed at times, didn't know where my next client was going to come from. And I found myself going to the gas station late at night, eating the honey buns, eating the Oreos, and, you can say it down in the comments for everybody who's watching on YouTube. Do you ever emotionally eat from stress? And that was me. I used to find myself eating these foods, eating cereal, big bowls of cereal late at night, finding myself tired, exhausted, even other health issues like eczema all on my hands, having acid reflux, and that was an issue that came from my eating habits. Okay. And so if you don't have solid routines and habits in your life, guys, it's going to eventually catch up. Most people, they just don't feel it initially because it just doesn't happen right away. It happens over time. That's how people, they gain 50 plus pounds and they're like, man, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I was talking to a guy the other day. He was like, he had took a photo with some of his colleagues and seen the photo. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I looked like that. That me? Why nobody didn't tell me I was that big? And it happens over time, and so we see ourselves every day when we look in the bathroom mirror. And so it's kind of like, we normalize it, but it's not until we see ourselves compared to other people and around people that we love and care about, or even our colleagues, and we like, whoa, and I gained some weight. And that comes from the habits, okay? And so once we have more structure with your habits, that removes the overwhelm, okay? I believe somebody mentioned something about overwhelm earlier on Instagram. The second thing is this. If you're dealing with a lot of physical and mental fatigue, I get a lot of guys who tell me this. They're like, man, my stamina ain't where it used to be. I'm dealing with fatigue in the bedroom. Deal with some fatigue in my career. I can't focus as long. Fatigue is not an age issue. A lot of people think once they hit their 40s or their 50s, oh man, I'm gonna start getting fatigued. Oh, it must be my testosterone is dropping, which testosterone can drop, naturally. That does happen. But there are things that we can do to make sure that we're not allowing our testosterone just to be depleted. Like if you're eating junk food, fast food, processed food all the time, oh yes, it's going to wreck your hormones, okay? And you're going to find yourself way more fatigued, way more stressed, okay? Studies show this. Like if you're eating a lot of processed food, it's not just calories, guys. Like it just doesn't have any nutritional value to it. This is how a lot of folks who are like high performing, they're in their career, they're like grinding. And then it becomes like so systematic for them to reach over and grab chips, reach over and grab crackers, reach over and grab trail mix, drink them some caffeine. But it's not fixing the issue. It's masking it. And so over time, they gain more and more weight. And it's the worst for people who are like really like high achievers because you're pushing at an optimal rate. You're trying to grind really, really hard. And you're not even focused on what you're really putting in your body. And doing this over a prolonged period of time, you can gain way more weight than the average person because you're putting out so much energy and output in your career. And so you're trying to get more to fuel yourself. And so you can gain a lot of weight and find yourself with really bad health really quickly. Okay. So it's super important to pay attention to that. If you're dealing with a fatigue issue, it's more of like a alignment issue, guys. Okay. And what I mean by this, most trainers don't talk about this part of it. The people who I see succeed and drop a ton of weight in my coaching program, they are moving in alignment with the future version of themselves. I want you to think about where you are right now. Your body, your energy, your weight, your confidence, whatever it is, how your clothes fit, And then I want you to think about the version of yourself where you would like to be. If you want to be 30 pounds down, 50 pounds down, whatever it is, how does that version of yourself move on a daily basis? How do they feel when they're down 30, 40, 50 plus pounds down? How do they have more energy? Do their clothes fit better? How does this person show up on a daily basis? How often does this version of yourself go to the gym? How much time does this person allocate to sleeping on a daily basis? If you're not moving in alignment with that version of yourself, it'll never happen. Because that version of yourself, they have energy. They don't have the weight on them. They have way more confidence. It's things that version of yourself does that the version of yourself right now isn't doing. It doesn't mean that you're bad right now, but if you want to go from good to great, have the image, the confidence, the energy, excel in your career, and also in your personal and social life, you got to start moving in alignment and not blame it on fatigue and I'm busy. Okay? And there's one more thing, well, two more things. This third thing, I'm going to break it down real quick. You got to drop the baggage. And what I mean by baggage is you got to drop the weight, guys. Weight is stress. It doesn't matter if it's fat, muscle, or if you're carrying a big 40, 50 pound book bag. You're going to be tired. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to start noticing the aches and pains and the stiffness from carrying that big, heavy 40, 50 pound book bag. But in most people's case, it's not a book bag. It's their weight. It's their stomach. It's the man boobs. It's the big flabby arms. It's the big legs. Guys, dropping that weight, dropping the baggage, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have so much more energy. That's why it's important to lose the weight. It's not just vanity. Most people think, oh, I'm going to look good and, I want to look good in my clothes. I want to make a statement, which is important, but you got to be thinking longevity too. Like you want to be here to stay in the game. If you're not healthy, you can't be in the game. You can't lead by example for your team. You can't lead by example for your family and the people you love and care about if you're not healthy. So drop the weight. A lot of these health issues like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, sleep apnea, hypertension can be completely avoided just by losing weight. Majority of the time. Not all the time, majority of the time. The other part of it is the quality of the foods that you eat. Critical. All right. Last thing is this. If you look at yourself like a high performer, if you're the type of person who doesn't want to just get by in life, you don't want to be average, you don't want to be mediocre, you want to excel in your life, you have to become a master of your routines. A master of your routines, okay? Because most folks, when they think about weight loss, they just think about, oh, what meals do I need to eat? What foods do I need to eat? But the people who succeed know it's way more than that. They know it's way more than just what I eat. It's your entire routine. It's holistic. And so, how many hours are you sleeping on a daily basis? How much water do you drink on a daily basis? You know, and water is cool to hydrate, but do you consume electrolytes to make sure you're like really hydrated to where you can perform at a high level on a daily basis? Look up electrolytes. Super important. Are you managing your stress? Being strategic around when you're grinding, when you're working, and then giving yourself little small bouts of rest throughout the day. These things are so important, guys, if you want to look your best and feel your best and not have to worry about stressing about fatigue and feeling exhausted and just like tired all the time. It's your routines. If you tried and failed at diets and workouts in the past and programs in the past, it doesn't mean that, you know, you're a bad person or that you're a failure. No, you just know what doesn't work now. And now it's time to figure out what are the habits and routines that you need to adopt into your life to not just get results now, but keep them long term. Once you get this, guys, I'm telling you, you'll feel better, you'll look better, and you'll be able to excel in your career and in your personal life. All right, we out of here. Let's get it. Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable. And if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.